So if you're a Ford Ranger or a Ford Everest owner or a driver, I've come across something that you may or may not be familiar with that may make your life a bit easier, if not maybe a little bit more interesting. So stay tuned and let me know what you think. So if you're used to reaching out for your fordpass app on your mobile so you can remotely start your car or turn it off perhaps, particularly in the summer where you want to cool down your car, or in the winter like we've got here at the moment, you know, you want to warm up the car 5 or 10 minutes in advance so it's nice and toasty when you park yourself in it, then it's a hit and miss. So I found with the fordpass app that, you know, you load up the app, you press the start button, and it may or may not start. And if it does start, it will take at least sort of 15 to 20 seconds, which is not a big deal. But if you're out at the shops, walking towards your car, or perhaps you're walking towards your car from inside your house, ideally, you know, I prefer it old school way where you can start it from the key and just get the car going. I don't really need to start it from one suburb to another. So that's where I came across a product online, which I thought, you know what, this sounds a little bit too good to be true. And it's not, you know, we're not inventing anything, God knows what, but in theory, it was going to solve my problem, and it was a bit too easy and too cheap to do it. So I went out and I reached out to the company to see if they would be keen in me reviewing the product, which they kindly enough sent me it, and I'm going to show you now what it is. Okay, so the company I'm talking about, or the site, is called RA Ranger, which I came across them online. And what they do is they sell a lot of bits and pieces for the Ford Ranger and the Ford Everest and so forth, around the, you know, things to eliminate the automatic stop start and bits and pieces. But the bit that really got me interested, I should say, sorry, is the Keyfob. So they had a Keyfob that will replace the original one, and what it does is it allows you to remotely start your car. And you don't have to reach for the fordpass app if you don't want to. You still have the option. But what you do, what you can do, I should say, is, you know, this is the key, or the fob, is remotely start your car by pressing the lock and then the 2 times for the remote start. And I thought, you know what, that sounds a bit complex, and I thought, how's that going to work? You know, do I have to take it back to Ford and pay for coding and so forth? And the instructions that came with the key were pretty self-explanatory, and I'm going to show you now what I did and how it turned out. Okay, so just opening the manual that came with the package from RA Ranger. The instructions say you got to turn on the ignition for 5 seconds, but not more than 10. With the original key inside the center console, and then turn it off, put the other key within 10 seconds in there. I'll put this up online, but I'm going to try it now just to see if it's as simple as they say it is. So that's the key that came with it, in here somewhere. Okay. All right. That's the key that they've sent out to me, which is very similar to the original, with the main difference being that this one's got chrome, this one's black, and this one does have the extra button for the remote start. It does feel solid. It actually feels heavier than the original, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but let's have a look. Okay, so in the Everest, which I'm in today, I'll take out my tray. And there is also a mat at the bottom, a rubber mat like this, that needs to come out. And there is a indent in there, if you want to come a bit closer, where the key needs to fit in, which is right there. I'm not too sure if you can see it, but anyway. So what I'll do now is I will insert the original key in there, which is in there, and put the ignition on. What does it say? For 5 seconds, but not more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn off the ignition. Remove the key. Sorry for the music. Put the second key in there. Once again, put the ignition on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, turn it off. Remove the second key. Now put the new RA Ranger key in there. It says just to put the ignition on. Okay, something happened. Turning off the ignition off. The indicator should flash. Remove the new program key, and it's now been programmed. That was a bit easy. Let's see if this really works. So I'm just going to try and lock and unlock the doors with the remote. Holy guacamole. It does work. Unlock. I'm going to try now the boot, see if it opens. Yep. That works. I'll close it again. And last but not least, I'm now going to try and remote start the car. For that, you got to press lock once and that button twice to start it. So let's go. Lock. 1, 2. Oh wow. That was the easiest thing I've ever had to do. Although on paper, it looks pretty complicated with all the instructions. It's actually very, very, very simple. And to give you an idea, turn the car off. You saw how quickly that was to get it going. It took me 2 seconds to start the car. Now, if I was to do it through the Ford app, it's still loading. So there's the Everest. If I press it and hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it took about 16 seconds for it to start. Now, these are first world problems, right? But at the same time, for the sake of convenience, to be able to press a button on my key as I'm walking towards the car is a lot easier than opening the app, pressing it, waiting 20 or so seconds to start. So we are really, really impressed with this key and how easy it was to program. I will try using it now for a few days just to make sure there's no issues. The idea with this is that you can remove the inside key that comes with it and either A, cut it, or what I intend to do is remove my original one that came with the car, slide it in there, and now I have the factory key with the aftermarket remote with it, and immobilizer and remote start. So let's give it a test drive for a few days to see how much it works. But I'll tell you what, the programming part was awesome and nice and easy. So as you saw from that, or hopefully you saw from that insert there, it was quite easy to code or program the key and for it to work. It only took me a couple of minutes. The only caveat is that you must have the 2 original key fobs that you got with your car. Otherwise, you are going to have to take them to Ford and get them to do it. But just for a quick look, this is the original key. This is the key fob that you get from RA Ranger. The biggest difference is, I guess, at the front. So historically, you've got the double press to open the boot, in this case for the Everest, the lock and unlock. With the RA Ranger one, you've got the unlock, lock, the remote start, and the remote boot opening. Now, one thing I can say straight off the bat is, aesthetically, I find the aftermarket RA Ranger one a lot nicer because of the chrome and the black. It just looks a little bit more expensive, I suppose. This one, well, it's pretty boring, but it's a key, so it doesn't need to be that exciting. And what you find is that you would have seen earlier, the actual key that is in the RA Ranger one isn't cut. So, that's something that you will have to organise and get it cut. However, what I did is I took out the original key from the original key fob, and I just inserted it into the aftermarket one, and Bob's your uncle. It works quite well. So kudos to RO Ranger. I think that although the fordpass app is getting better, the latency is still pretty slow. I'm a physical person. I prefer to be able to lock and unlock and start it with a key fob where possible. There are times where I rely on the app just to check whether I've locked the car and all that jazz, or the alarm goes off. But really, this at least I know my car will start. Now, I have been using this for about 2 or 3 weeks since I recorded the programming. My concern was that, you're buying something aftermarket. What if it stops working when you're out on the road, and then you're pretty much screwed? That's not a position I want to be in. However, at the same time, I didn't want to carry the original key with me, because then I won't be able to see whether this really works. So what I can say is that since starting to use the RO Ranger fob, I've had 0 issues. The car's always started. I'll be able to lock, unlock the doors, open the boot, close the boot, and all that stuff. And it hasn't failed me at all. And hopefully it will continue to be the case. So yeah, really impressed. Like I said, aesthetically, I find it to be a lot nicer. Same thickness with the chrome, and it gets bashed around like any other key. So there's no, from a build quality point of view, it's much of a muchness. It may even be, it's probably about the same weight. 0 scratches, dings, or anything like that. So yeah, very nice key fob. Very pleasant to use. I love it. Great product. Thank you to the team at RO Ranger for sending me this to review. I thoroughly appreciate it. I don't get paid for this. I haven't, yes, I didn't pay for this key fob, but I haven't been paid for this. It's not a sponsored video as such. So you're hearing the honest opinion of myself and the truth. So if you're interested into getting one for yourself, I'll put the link in the comments below. Have you used this before? Have you used something similar? Feel free to comment below. And please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content, so you're notified when I record other videos. Thank you for tuning in, and this is Sash from ST Reviews. Goodbye.